Okay, I hope you enjoyed my little introduction video there, because what we're talking about today, we're talking about Black Freemasons' lives that matter. And there's only one guy that we need to look at in this video, and his name is Crump, not Trump, Crump. The world's most powerful, presently Black Freemason. Wow, he's a powerful lawyer, Black Freemason. You know, Brianna had her $12 million settlement yesterday with Kentucky, right? Quickest $12 million settlement in history of settlements. They squared up with the family. Crump was right there, you know, save Brianna mask, wearing to save Brianna. Justice for Brianna mask. Anyway, just 2 weeks ago, the time of Jacob's trouble, Kijani and Maria, sackcloth and ashes. Spit it up, Mark. Sackcloth and ashes. One of my favorite channels, and I've used many clips of his videos before, and I'm going to give you a clip of this one. He exposed Mr. Crump as obviously a 33rd degree Freemason. In this video, I'm going to play 6 or 7 minutes of it, and I want to just give him a shout out again. But Mr. Crump, let's have a quick look at him, and then I'm going to roll with the video, okay? Because the Freemasons, any chance I get, I'm exposing them. Because this is it. This is war. This is war, my friends. Spiritual, psychological war. Okay, let's watch.
To all our brethren to receive the most merciful the grand master. I hope that to be self-evident, Brother Franklin. All men are created equal.
Indeed, Brother Washington. All Freemasons meet as equals, and we have an opportunity to create a nation in the very essence of Masonic morality. It would be wonderfully symbolic, don't you think?
You'll be wanting to put the all-seeing eye on our banknotes next.
You think I'm taking it a bit far?
Please don't ask me questions like that, Brother Franklin. You know I cannot tell a lie.
Oh, come on, Brother Washington. Everybody lies occasionally, surely, especially politicians.
Not me. Not even so much as an alternative.
We must all be aware of fake news.
The people must be free to think what they like as well. We can have no thought police in our new society. The foundation stone of our new nation built on all those principles that we hold dear.
The plans for our new capital city already have a very Masonic feel to them, huh?
Candidate for initiation into the order, I'm giving them a little introduction into some of our mysteries. These two gentlemen are founding an entire nation built on our principles.
We have great promises for our new nation. You know, I wonder if other presidents after me will also be Freemasons.
Many will be. And Freemasonry will become embedded in the American culture. And the eye will appear on the banknotes.
Oh, God.
These principles will be honored with a gift from your French brethren. A gift that will be a welcoming beacon to the poor and oppressed.
This is the statue we are giving you.
It's a bit small, isn't it?
Oh, this is a maquette. The real thing is bigger. Much, much bigger. I call her Liberty Enlightening the World.
Catchy.
America will produce a great many great Americans from many different walks of life and many different fields, and many will be Masons. Sportsmen, actors, writers, soldiers, filmmakers, businessmen, inventors, astronauts.
What on earth is an astronaut?
No, they're not.
I don't follow.
Well, they're not on Earth, they're in space. In fact, Brother Buzz Aldrin was the second man to walk upon the surface of the moon.
Now, that's the best thing I've heard this evening.
What, that a Mason walked on the moon?
Man on the moon. Amazing. But don't forget the musicians. Do not forget the musicians.
Known as... That's still the three again. The Freemasonry has burned as a blazing fire through the last 3 centuries.
As permanent master of these 3 lodges, I now call on my deputy masters.
Most worshipful Grand Master, on behalf of the brethren of Royal Somerset House, most worshipful Grand Master,
our ceremonies and forever remind us of our incomparable heritage and the birth of organized Freemasonry,
stressing the deep and sincere loyalty and affection felt by the brethren of the United Grand Lodge of England for their Grand Master.
We leave the Royal Albert Hall even more proud of our ancient institution.
Most worshipful Grand Master, I humbly ask you to complete the initiation of this worthy candidate for Freemasonry.
I hereby read the text of a letter sent today to Buckingham Palace. May it please your Majesty, we, the representatives of over 200,000 Freemasons under the United Grand Lodge of England, most respectfully express our continuing loyalty to your Majesty's throne and person in this, the 66th year of your long and distinguished reign. His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, as our much loved and greatly respected Grand Master. We humbly thank God for preserving our order and fervently pray his blessings on your Majesty, so that our loyal devotion to your Majesty may long continue. Given at Royal Albert Hall this 31st day of October, Anno Domini 2017. Her Majesty has been pleased to reply in the following terms. The Queen has asked me to thank you for your kind letter of royal greetings on behalf of the representatives of the Freemasons under the United Grand Lodge of England, which are being celebrated on the 31st of October at the Royal Albert Hall. Her Majesty appreciated your thoughtfulness in writing as you did.
I had the pleasure of meeting 136 Grand Masters visiting from overseas at Freemasons Hall yesterday. Today, though, we are a meeting of more than 4,000, gathered from all around the world, from our own constitution and beyond. When the global Masonic family comes together to celebrate our past and to renew our own pride and confidence in and enthusiasm for Freemasonry.
An advocate for the craft all over the world, continuing 3 centuries of distinguished royal tradition at the very heart of English Freemasonry.
George Floyd's story has been the story of black folks, because ever since 401 years ago, the reason we could never be who we wanted and dreamed to be in is you kept your knee on our neck. We were smarter than the underfunded schools you put us in, but you had your knee on our neck. We could run corporations and not hustle in the street, but you had your knee on our neck. We had creative skills. We could do whatever anybody else could do, but we couldn't get your knee off our neck. What happened to Floyd happens every day in this country, in education, in health services, and in every area of American life. It's time for us to stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks. But I'm more hopeful today than ever. Why? Well, let me go back. Reverend Jackson always taught me, stay on your text. Go back to my text, Ecclesiastes. There is a time and a season. And when I looked at this time and saw marches where in some cases young whites outnumbered the blacks marching, I know that it's a different time and a different season. When I looked and saw people in Germany marching for George Floyd, it's a different time and a different season. When they went in front of the Parliament in London, England, and said it's a different time and a different season, I come to tell you, America, this is the time of dealing with accountability in the criminal justice system.
Dr. Martin Luther King said, he who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really like cooperating with it. You know, T.I., on that video, what we saw was torture. Reverend Jackson, what we saw in that video was inhumane. Martin III, what we saw in that video was evil. And so, America, we proclaim as we memorialize George Floyd, do not cooperate with evil. Protest against evil. Join the young people in the streets protesting against the evil, the inhumane, the torture that they witnessed on that video. We cannot cooperate with evil. We cannot cooperate with injustice. We cannot cooperate with torture. Because George Floyd deserved better than that.
That's a ring about profession. You don't know nothing about that. Okay, can we get a close up on that area? What? I don't know nothing about. What is the profession? Yeah, which profession are we talking about? Just look at it. Is it a legal profession? Of course it's legal. It's a ring about profession. I'm trying to read it. Okay. It's too many times. That's too bright. That's too bright. Go ahead. Oh, Mason, are you a Mason? Of course I am. Okay. You might as well put your pinky out when you drink your drink. Put your pinky out. You go from the secret service. Stop that. Everyone wears. Anyway, the Clippers. The Clippers. But that is impressive. Mr. O'Neal. I don't have a shirt. Anyway, so the Clippers. Those he doesn't wear. Those he doesn't wear. The Clippers. Yeah. As I was blinded by success.
Going back to George Floyd here, several of us, a lot of us, investigated his death, investigated him, investigated his photos. Here's the one with the sixes. Him and his friends are showing the sixes. Could be transplanted, you know, all part of their ritual sacrifice. George Floyd may have been a Freemason. His attorney is, which we're looking at. One of the things about George Floyd was his son, name was Mason. George Floyd, the 46-year-old Minneapolis resident, died May 25th after a police officer kneeled on his neck. We know that for almost 9 minutes. Masonry, also known as Freemasonry, is the world's first and largest fraternal organization. It is a brotherhood of like-minded men who generally care about each other, according to the Masons of California. We develop lifelong friendships with fellow Masons and their families and are welcomed at Masonic lodges throughout the United States and the world. Former NBA player Larry Johnson shared a screenshot of a supposed 2016 Instagram post by fellow ex-player Steven Jackson. It shows Masonic gear of the latter's late father with the caption reading, "We'll be following your footstep, Pops. Salute to all his Mason brothers." Theorists believe that this message implies that Jackson was going to join the Masons. The idea links to the second post. And here's that post right here. Here's Larry's tweet via Steven Jackson's Instagram, April 17th, 2016, so 4 years plus ago. Just like Trayvon Martin, y'all ratting and looting over another Freemason sacrifice to bring you closer to dying in the street. Enjoy, though. Kind of cryptic. So there's the poncho, the Freemason poncho. And here's what Stack 5 has to say. My father's Mason Brothers 33 gave me something to cherish. My dad's gear. We'll be following your footsteps, Pops. Rest easy. Salute to all Mason brothers. View all 33 comments. Of course, it has to have 33 comments with it. And Steven Jackson posts that on his Instagram. Steven Jackson, as we are all aware, is George Floyd's twin. Some say it was George Floyd. But he's the one that was there with the daughter, you know, and the wife, all crying, saying he was been friends with Floyd for all these years. Yeah, okay. Instagram post by fellow ex-player Steven Jackson shows the Masonic gear of latter's late father. Yep. The whole camp pass, yeah. Jackson's Instagram account has been verified with a blue badge appearing next to its account's username. The screenshot does not show such a badge, meaning that it was not captured recently. Canyon News was unable to locate the post on Jackson's profile. It remains unconfirmed it was deleted or archived, or if the screenshot is a phony. The second Instagram post is from late May this year, and Jackson has said he shared it so all you can see my brother Floyd in his element. Floyd and someone else in the photo can be seen holding up the alleged Masonic hand sign, the 666 we've just seen. Theorists claim that it proves Jackson and Floyd were involved with Masonry. No, it's definitely proves they're with Masonry. Jackson also referred to Floyd as his brother several times, despite coming from a seemingly different background. The Minnesota Masonic Charities website mentions that one of the most fascinating aspects of Masonry is how so many men from so many different walks of life can join together in peace and call each other brother. Another factor linking Floyd to Masonry is Benjamin Crump, which we're about to end the video with. The attorney for Floyd's family. Crump is listed as a famous Prince Hall Mason on the website of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Ohio. A Grand Lodge is the governing body of Freemasonry in an individual jurisdiction. Crump was the attorney for family of Trayvon Martin, a shooting victim whose father was also allegedly a Freemason. Additionally, the middle name of two of Floyd's children is Mason, Connie Mason Floyd, and Quincy Mason Floyd, who we saw speaking at the rallies with Benjamin Crump. Some theorists have gone on to claim that Floyd's death was a Masonic sacrifice. None of these claims can be confirmed, only speculated. Okay, so we're going to take you over now. Here's Floyd. We're going to take you over now, and we're going to show you Kajani Amariak's video on Benjamin Crump as the handler to the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Somebody's got to handle these things. And before I say that, he mentions at the start of his video the number 824, and he doesn't mention the Kobe Bryant sequence and affiliation with this PSYOP as well, because as you well know, or may not know, Kobe had the numbers 824 when he played with the Los Angeles Lakers. And when he's talking about the Kashani riots that happened on 824 after the shooting of the black dude there in Wisconsin, was it? He said that the date 824 was very important, and I'm just relating the fact that Kobe wore the numbers 824, and as we've been watching, Kobe Bryant is a big part of these PSYOPs as well, with links to pretty well all of them since he died, including the Black Mamba and the coronavirus. Okay, so with that said, let's head on over and end the video with that, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Yep, got to keep exposing these guys because it is the Jesuits and the Freemasons running a ramp shot on the world right now, and we're just a bunch of their lackeys. That's Mark, Global Agenda. Peace out. Enjoy.
In the previous video, I told you that 824 was a date to be watchful and vigilant because it was the perfect date for the next satanic orchestrated ritual event to occur. Well, on August 24th, 2020, Kenosha, Wisconsin became the center of nationwide protests after police shot a black man in front of his children the day before on August 23rd. This event offers us a perfect example and proof, if you will, of what I've been preaching in my videos, namely how satanic occult practitioners of magic carry out orchestrated blood sacrifice ritual events. There are several ways to recognize these orchestrated events because they all include certain elements. For the purpose of this study, we will list the elements as follows. Number 1, Freemasonic symbolism. Each event will always be connected to some sort of Freemasonic symbolism. Number 2, numerology. Numerology will usually be embedded in the events through the dates, times, and or ages of the victims. Number 3, etymology. The etymology of the names of the victims and the location of the event will also hold significant clues. Number 4, connection interrelation, or correlation. There will always be something that connects the current incident to some prior satanic ritual event in some way. Number 5, the presence of an overseer. Certain individuals are attached to certain events after they occur, and it appears that these individuals are put in place to act in the capacity of an overseer to manage these events in order to ensure the desired outcome. That being said, let's examine the shooting of Jacob Blake. We'll start with the example of the overseer first, and then we will explore the other elements of a satanic orchestrated event. Our first clue that the shooting of Jacob Blake and the subsequent riots and unrest is an orchestrated satanic Freemasonic ritual event is the presence of Benjamin Crump, who we have labeled the overseer. As you well know, Benjamin Crump was involved in the high-profile and racially charged cases of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Kendrick Johnson, Corey Jones, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and now Jacob Blake. You ever wondered to yourself, why is Benjamin Crump always the lawyer selected for these cases that involve the shooting or killing of so-called blacks or police? Are they telling us that there are no other black lawyers in America that are qualified to handle these cases? Of course there are. So then there must be some ulterior motive for his repeated appearances for each of these high-profile cases. I submit to you that Benjamin Crump is selected for these cases because they are all orchestrated events, and his job is to manage these cases and to use the heated emotions connected with these incidents to manipulate the opinions and reactions of the so-called black community in such a way that it furthers the goals of the ruling elite and the secret societies that he has pledged his allegiance to, the ones he answers to and serves. His own bio page declares that he is a member of Sigma Pi Phi Boule and the Michael R. Moore Lodge 764 PHA of Free and Accepted Masons. This fact connects him and every high-profile case involving the shooting or killing of so-called blacks that he has represented to number 1, the element of Freemasonic symbolism, number 4, connection, interrelation, or correlation to other satanic events, and element number 5, the presence of an overseer. The symbol for the boule is a griffin or sphinx, which is a guardian animal. They are the gatekeepers who defend their masters. This is the role Benjamin Crump plays. He is a gatekeeper for the ruling class, a servant for the members of the higher secret societies. If you are not familiar with the Black Boule, you should look up Steve Coakley, but here's a short explanation by Coakley.
When the bankers began to take over the American cities in the 70s, New York 75, Cleveland 77, Chicago 79, and here in California, they used Proposition 13 to suck up the surplus out the budget, and bankers began to take over from municipalities the governing of the cities. And as I was scratching, I could not figure out how was there such black complicity in this centralization of worldwide power, the New World Order. It's on the dollar bill, pyramid by white men who never built one, never saw one, but they emulated this symbol. And now comes a series of societies, and now comes forth this black one in 1904. Boule, B-O-U-L-E, advisors to the king, and the Boule tend to make up a aristocracy. We talked in the park about the 10%. Not in the sense of us in exclusivity, but them in the terms of deputizing 10% of the population to assure that the 90% never gets on.
Clearly, Crump's involvement with the Boule connects him with the black aristocracy that is used to control the lower classes of blacks and to help bring about the plans of their masters in the formation of the New World Order. If you take a step back, it's easy to see how the American public is constantly being manipulated and led around by their noses through orchestrated events and the propaganda disseminated by the media. When the political narrative of the ruling elite changes, the current crisis that America is facing at the time changes as well to fit the new narrative. What I mean is this: when the priority was gun control and attacking the Second Amendment here in America, we saw a rash of mass shootings occur, like the mass shooting at the Walmart in El Paso, on a busy street in Dayton, Ohio, or at the concert in Las Vegas. We saw mass shootings at places of worship, like Sutherland Springs Church in Texas, on college campuses like Virginia Tech, and at schools like Sandy Hook and Stoneman Douglas. And with that, the narrative of gun control was pushed down the throats of the American public.
Either represent the people or get out. The people demand a law banning the sale of assault weapons. The people demand we prohibit the sale of high-capacity magazines. The people demand universal background checks. Stand for us or beware, the voters are coming.
Currently, the narrative that is being pushed is revolution, anarchy, and the complete destruction of the current system of government by the nation state, which will eventually lead to America's subordination to a global government. To that end, we are now seeing the constant killing of so-called black men and women by police, followed by the subsequent riots, unrest, or revolution, as in the case of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and now Jacob Blake. The fact that Crump is a member of the Blm and Freemasonry, both of which are secret societies, means that he has undergone strange rites and rituals and taken oaths of loyalty to these organizations. Therefore, it is extremely naive and bordering on willful ignorance for anyone to believe that any person who is bound by oaths of loyalty to a secret organization would ever have your best interests at heart, especially when your interests are diametrically opposed to the interests
Australia, which used to be looked upon as a remarkable, safe, open, honorable, fair, and beautiful country to go to, an outlet, a place to run to, a place to relocate, a place to become a citizen in. And then what happened? The communists got in there, the international globalist, communist, Zionist elite, and they took the guns away from the people. What has happened since then is something that I'm sure most all of you regular listeners can fill in the blanks about. Those poor people are so under the boot now of permanent hegemony and domination, surveillance. It's brutal what's going on in the state of Victoria and the governor of that state. And it's the first topic we're going to talk about tonight. But Victor Altamare, he is down there. I've known Victor through the internet for many years. He's a very, very bright man who understands the big picture, and he's offered to come on tonight to try to spread the word about the true Bolshevik horror that is going on in Victoria, Australia. Victor, welcome back. Actually, I think it's your first, maybe your second visit, but anyhow, welcome aboard. Glad to talk to you, and let's get into this situation. How long have you lived in Australia, by the way?
Jeff, my family migrated here when I was 1 year old back in 1957. I've lived here for most of my life. I lived for a period of about 10 years in the United States, traveling sometimes back to Australia frequently, but mainly in the United States and Las Vegas.
That's where, that is. Well, I was in the hometown. I was there 3 years. Yeah. But that's where we first got it. Victor has been watching what's going on in his country. This is really medieval stuff. The way that the police have turned on the people, on their own people, and some of the videos that I've seen are stunning, shocking. This is East Germany. This is Stasi stuff. Make no mistake about it. Backed up with a governor and certainly a state administration that is utterly unconcerned about the welfare of the people. I don't care what they say. I know what's going on. The medical tyranny over there is also over the top, disgusting. Tell us what you see. Tell us how this all came to be. Give me your take on this.
Okay. I'll tell you what's happening, but before I do, I'll give all Americans that are listening tonight a warning. And do not give up your Second Amendment. Under no circumstances let them take your guns. Absolutely not. You'll be disempowered and you'll become like us. We're prisoners in an open gulag at the moment, subjugated by a governor, a premier we call them here, but governor for you, who's just gone off the reservation, totally rogue. And I'll tell you some of the things that he's doing. But before I do, I need to tell you something, that Melbourne is ground zero globally for a number of reasons. Because how could it happen? Essentially for a liberal democratic democracy here. Mm-hmm. It was open, free, carefree. Melbourne is one of the strong cities network of the world. And this is a global organisation, NGO, based in London, whose board consists of many trilateral commissions and the usual bunch of criminals that you know about. Melbourne joined the Strong Cities Network, and Cities network, and America has got a number of them as well, and they just happen to be the cities where Antifa and BLM are running riots at the moment.
Let me name the, first of all, look in guests, please, all of you, look under Victor's name, and you'll see Strong Cities in Victoria, Australia, and how that program has been implemented. This is like a big beta test down there, to me. Beware of the Strong Cities Network. That's another story to click and look at. These are fascinating. Strong Cities, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, Rothschild, all the connections are there in the third story. And here is a world list of the Agenda 2030 Strong Cities members. This is what this is all about. Strong Cities has to do with Agenda 2030, okay? In this country, the members, I may have missed one, but I don't think so. The members of the Strong Cities International TLC CFR Rothschild conglomerate are Los Angeles, Communist LA, Anaheim, and I pray for the soul of poor Walt Disney, San Diego, Pittsburgh, I'll talk to Henry Nyman about this, Louisville, Atlanta, Denver, and New York City. Those are the Strong cities in this country right now. If I missed any, we'll catch up to it later. Yeah, go.
You can add Minnesota to that.
Minneapolis.
So, yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. Go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, but not only that, Melbourne is also the head office for ICLEI Oceania. And I won't go into what Oceania is.
Oh, yes. Nobody knows about this. Very few people. Thank you for bringing that up. I want all of you to pay attention. This is really important. Go. This is great.
ICLEI stands for, what it used to stand for the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. It's changed its name more recently to hide what it does, because people are beginning to wake up, and now it's called the Local Government for Sustainability. So when you hear the word sustainability, it's a buzzword, and it's a buzzword that comes out of ICLEI. And ICLEI is an NGO under the auspices of the United Nations, and its job is to implement Agenda 21, which is nowadays called Agenda 2030. So you all recognise these things, and let me just go back to strong cities so the people can recognise if they've got a strong city, as Victoria does. And you'll see your police force dressed in black. You'll see them carry assault weapons, as ours do now here in Melbourne. You'll see them sometimes driving in black vehicles, helmets, riot gear. We had a protest which was brutally subdued and crushed over the weekend, and the police were dressed up in the Strong Cities uniform. They use Israeli policing techniques that were perfected in Gaza to subjugate and oppress the Palestinians.
Many, as you know, many of our police departments, their chiefs have been flown over there, wined and dined and videotaped, no doubt, in hotel rooms with girls of comfort and trained in Israeli police brutality. And that's what they brought back here, and that's the same thing we're seeing here. It's universal. Go ahead.
Knee on the neck, that's one of the techniques, and that was the you saw. However, people will also recognise ICLEI in their cities, and you can look up if your city is an ICLEI city, and you'll notice it by the coloured garbage cans. You'll notice it by roundabouts. I'm not sure what they call them.
Yes, those European roundabouts that they're putting in many cities here. That's another sign. Yeah, very interesting.
They call it traffic calming, but that's a sign that your city is succumbing to global governance.
We have in Australia, sadly, a compromise at the highest of levels. So, having produced a set of documents to the Royal Commission, which includes, disturbingly, documents that name in one document 28 people as alleged pedophiles, includes a whole lot of prominent people. And I think to protect the discretion of the Royal Commission, I won't comment on what the Commission thought, except that they thought it was outside the terms of reference of the Royal Commission. Could you explain to me why that is so? I actually want to go to the proposition, Mr. Attorney, that we should include in the terms of reference the institution of the law. And I have documents here which the Royal Commission has seen to justify that case, and in fact, every Attorney General, from Attorney General Ruddock to now, has seen some of these documents. And they are police documents, and they are very disturbing. It's not so much the secret that's the problem. It's when a group of people, such as the 28 people on this page, keep each other's secrets, that the institution becomes compromised. And on this list, and there are some spectacular examples of that. People involved in hearing court cases, anyhow, I won't go through that. I just appeal for the thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Australia, and the Royal Commission, to its credit, is demonstrating the disgusting culture of some of our institutions. I appeal to you for you to give consideration to cleaning up this act. I mean, the Royal Commission, the Wood Royal Commission, as you know, Mr. Attorney, was about to explore who the legal fraternity people were that used to attend Costello's, the Boy Brothel Club in Kellett Street, King's Cross. Now I've actually got the list here, and a lot of them are still practising. But the judge of the day of the Royal Commission decided it was a no-go zone, and Paddy Bergen, counsel assisting at the time, said, "We'll rise for morning tea," and they never went back to it. And I did ask the Commissioner why. He said he'd deny it. If ever I mention it, I think it's time to mention it in view of the good work of the Royal Commission. He said, "We've decided not to revisit that issue because the public would lose confidence in the judiciary." Because the public would lose confidence in the judiciary. I think it's time, like the churches and our other institutions, who are now facing up to the truth, I think it's time the institution of the law faced reality. In recent months, I've put a proposition to the Royal Commission into the institutional treatment of children, and it's pretty heartbreaking to see what's gone on and what's been denied for the last 50 years now being exposed as a reality. It's broken a lot of hearts. There's a former Prime Minister on this list. It's a police document. When the police find it necessary to put a judge under surveillance, I think we've got to a point where we've got a problem. And when that surveillance is dropped because of a lack of cooperation between the AFP and the New South Wales Police, we have a problem. Like the denial of the priests and the altar boys for 50 years. I have put forward a case which I initiated to remove a judge from the bench in New South Wales during the hearing of the case, and from the bench, during the case, said to the court that he thought the law was out of date and that sex for siblings should be now legal, and that it shouldn't be illegal for men to have sex with children. And I found that despicable and despising, and a complete bias displayed in the bench. I've tried in vain to get a federal judicial commission. And I think the treatment in the federal jurisdiction of children by some people in the jurisdiction of the Family Law Court is disgusting and a disgrace, and some of those children are a tool for attorneys in representing cases. I think it's time we gave consideration to cleaning up the Act.
Wow. Welcome, everyone. 1151. Wow. It's just powerful information. How big they are, how powerful they are. It's just so in your face, the collusion and the coordination, and how it's been going on for decades and decades and decades and decades. How wealthy they are. It's, wealthy, how rulerly they are. Let's come up with a new word, rulerly. How they rule everything, and how no one's talking about what's important. That's what's important. If we learn one thing, is that to talk about what's important, and that these cases that they control and coordinate minds with and coordinate narratives. Can you imagine the day that comes when they have all these lawyers representing this staged event, and all of a sudden the crowd says, bullshit, 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 and calls them out on their bullshit? That's when the tables turn. when a national media event and it just the crowds are chanting bullshit. They're not falling for your crap anymore. Start calling out the bullshit. You could capture some very powerful, pivotal moments in history. Yeah. So again, we had 6 adopted kids go off a cliff, and we can't get one sign for them. We can't get nobody knows their name. We can't get one person to say their name of the 6 children that went off the cliff that were black slave adopted children to 2 lesbians from Washington. So it just shows you the total, what's being talked about, what's not talked about. And we are the epicenter of the most harm caused to children and families around the world. And that's government intrusion, government child trafficking, government brutality, government using children, money over their heads, and corrupt environments, dictator judges. My God, it's like we live in another country. This isn't America. We're in a complete dictatorship. Let's get that straight. And the more we teach people that we're in a dictatorship, we're being ruled, and that you don't have no justice. You'll get as much as you can afford, and that's it. And the whole system's rigged. Derek Floyd, both Masons. Yeah, Trayvon, goes back to Trayvon. Crump, we talked about Crump. Very powerful information here. Crump's everywhere. He's Mr. Handler. He's the case handler. He's not Mr. Want to make things better for black people, as he just coordinates events as opposed to coming out and saying black children are being trafficked in foster care adoption, and the parents are being they're just not talking about what's important. He won't talk about the Federal Reserve, won't talk about black children being trafficked, unconstitutional environments with these courts, these dictators that are just ruling over families, whether it's probate court, family children's court. BLM brought to my attention. Yeah, it's all about division, but it didn't work. It's they're trying to, but it didn't work. Black Lives Matter came out, and everyone was protesting against brutality. They're sick of it. They're sick of the police state, and the numbers are out there, and they want to intimidate people from coming out and put new laws, as those new laws in every state scare people from coming out. They don't want large crowds. You got to go in at a certain time and can't be making too much noise out there. Shh. Stop protesting so loud. You're too loud. Shh. Hey, it's after 6 o'clock. It's bedtime now. Go. No more protesting. Anything to intimidate crowds. They don't want crowds. The crowds are here. Symbolism, downfall. If we could just boycott so much of their crap, if we could call them out at a major event, if when they're doing these attorney meetings in front of courthouses, if the whole crowd said bullshit, 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 and just kept shouting that bullshit, it would crumble what they're doing. We have to crumble their lies. We have to call out these people in public, and as to what they are. They're full of shit. That's the bottom line there. Excuse my language. But it's when you get the crowd, when you get a crowd calling out these people, my God, to capture it on video, bullshit. What are you talking about? It's all bullshit. They're faking this crap. They're staging this crap. We got a state of war going on. We got a Federal Reserve we got to abolish, and we need to restore the Constitution for children and families. Those 2 issues right there. Get rid of the monetary supply, the private reserve of bullshit. Get rid of the CIA. Get rid of the lies. Get rid of the deceit. Get rid of the covert operations. Enough is enough. Those are the issues you got to talk about. Until you're talking about that, a legitimate voting system, the Federal Reserve, people doing their job, the military-industrial complex, CIA, NSA. If you're not talking about those entities, you're right where they want you. You're open target. They got you, and they can just riddle you with bullets. They'll they can't miss. You're just like a bunch of guppies in a little pond, and they get away with everything. But when they're called out, and stuff, meaningful stuff is talked about, that's when there's a chance for change. But until if everyone's distracted that it's racism, and it's not classism, it's not povertyism, it's not warism, they got you where they want you. Racism isn't the issue; it's classism, it's securityism, it's socialism, it's people need security, jobism. Let's get those things on the plate. That everybody deserves a home, food, security. And when you can never give those to people, I mean, you can constantly cripple, and you got people controlling the monetary supply. What a joke. Yeah, just in the comments, Derek Floyd, specifically. Yeah, it goes back to Trayvon Zimmerman, and it's so old, right? I mean, look at they've been doing these crimes for decades, and whether they're staged or not, there's nothing meaningful from anywhere. Why? Because you're not talking about what's important. You're not talking about a legitimate voting system with a paper ballot with receipts given to everyone, paper trail. You're not talking about the Federal Reserve. You're not talking about a rigged government system. You're not talking about people not doing their job, that the judges are corrupt, top to bottom. Man, imagine how easy it is to control all those judges in the nation. What are there, 10,000 judges in 50 states? How easy it is to control those people that control the jurisdictions of lives and families. And we go to Judge Judy. We're in the comments. If you'd like to come on live, let us know. We're 12 o'clock live. Might have to start another show unless somebody wants to come on and say something. I don't know where my keyboard is. Okay. Having a great day. Hope you're having a great day. Big Friday, 5/14, split May in half. Days are flying by. Call them out. Call them out, people. Make some noise. When they try to pull up some BS, call them out with the bullhorn. Watch what happens. Call them out. Say, hell no. You're full of it. You're faking this crap. You need to take your fake crap and all your fake agenda and talk about what's important. We're here to talk about what's important. We're here to talk about the children. We're here to talk about families. We're here to talk about poverty. We're here to talk about the dumbing down of people. We're here to talk about all the poisons you're putting in our system. Those are the issues that need to be talked about, and nothing that can possibly fix things is being talked about like it should be. And that's how they got you where they want you. You're not talking about the Federal Reserve. You're not talking about a legitimate voting system. You're not talking about corrupt judges. You're not talking about unaccountability to anyone. You're not talking about the CIA, NSA, on and on and on. The French toast was good. I'll be back. I'm going to try to find something else. CPS News Network, sign out.